Well, it's a great pleasure to see everybody again, obviously. And I feel that this year there's a kind of a piece to the proceedings which you can only earn after 4 years of working with a group of people.
I mean, every year feels like a fresh start, and it seems to get better. The scripts just continue to be as good, if not better, every time.
Obviously the bar raises each time, and the audience has not only stayed with us, but it's grown. So the expectations are high for the 4th series.
There's something about everything that feels like it's functioning really smoothly this year, and you don't have so much anxiety about every decision because you've had that anxiety once before, so it's not as bad going through it the 4th time.
Being on the 3rd series, as I was last year, and starting the 4th series, as I am this year, there's a completely unquenchable thirst to make the show better right across the board.
Oh, for heaven's sake, why does everyone keep nagging and nagging? My husband is dead. Can't you understand what that means?
We quite deliberately made a 6-month time jump because we didn't really want to do funerals and sobbing and the intensity of grief, because we'd rather played that with Sybil.
We obviously had to pay tribute to that because I think there was an expectation that we would, but we didn't want to spend the whole series with the family in mourning.
Series 4 begins with the shocking sense of Matthew's memory being extremely fresh in the minds of the grieving family.
It's almost like Downton is kind of frozen in time. It's like this fairy tale, like there's a spell that's been cast.
The place is shut down. It's a sort of Miss Havisham feel to the place. The lighting is very cold, the atmosphere is dour.
This extraordinary emotional bleakness that there is was at least potentially mirrored by the fact that the series starts in winter. And that's a lovely thing because it's just simply taking advantage of the season that the show starts shooting in.
In this time, we see that everyone would still be wearing black in the house in full mourning.
What's that?
Nothing.
Caroline McCall, our costume designer, has me in a black dress that's high neck with a sash around the waist, and it really is an echo of the wedding dress. It's really about those details that make the show special, I think.
Everybody knew in a room, even with strangers, that that person had lost someone recently. I mean, the whole of the country must have been wearing those colours straight after the war. But you see, Carson, I'd almost forgotten I had either energy or kindness in me.
The hemlines are coming up slightly over these years, and the waistlines are dropping. So different fabrics coming in. So we've got more knitwear, these sort of silk jersey that's come in. The cut of the white tie and black tie at this time is just so gorgeous.
I've had the most incredible suit made for me. I mean, it's beautiful, and it fits, and I love wearing it.
I think any man today would want to wear that look.
Well, that was a nice surprise, I must say.
My whole stay's been full of nice surprises. I can't tell you how pleased I am that I came.
Really? Then I'm pleased too.
The volume of clothes required for the second block of filming, it has been insane. For every dinner party, every character wears a different dress. So trying to get those all together has been a bit of a mission.
There are makeup artists that you work with, and they really are artists. There's something, it's like watching a painter.
I just think of Downton Abbey as like movements, of like, because we create so many waves. You want all the waves to be married in together, so it creates a beautiful painting. Everything is very soft in this period and flawless, only to enhance your beauty. So that's the way we're going.
There's a different sort of look for Edith when she's in London, like she's broken away.
The criterion there is the big dress, it was a big deal, and it got nicknamed Edith by the costume department.
I wanted it to be totally unlike anything that anybody else had ever worn. It was designed around a piece of beading, original beading that I found in Paris. And then we built the dress around that.
Very risque. There's a big slit up one half of the leg.
I thought I'd make a bit of an effort.
Glad you did.
This series in Downton, we've been taking trips to London more, I think, and that's exciting because you do see the world around Downton.
It's felt like being in another show at points on these London locations.
The headache comes for our location department in London, and the budget takes a whack because it's so expensive to park.
On the screen, you've got two actors, but behind it, it's the trucks, it's the hair, the makeup, the costume, the supporting artists. So you have to sort of facilitate hundreds of people.
The Ladies' Club, as was written in the script, as Julian wanted, was it was Annabelle's of the 60s or 70s, so it was a very fashionable Mayfair night out.
We were looking for somewhere really kind of chic, somewhere really kind of sexy.
We had to find somewhere that looked exotic. I mean, and the Savile Club in London, it's got a beautiful ballroom, which is French, so we decided that will give it its exotic feel.
I hope you don't mind my ambushing you like this.
It was Mama and Aunt Rosamond who ambushed me.
It's absolutely breathtaking. And I remember seeing Donal's face, and he was like, wow, this is it.
We added a stage and lighting and a backdrop to it and gave it a bit of Busby Berkeley, but not quite. It's quite a tight turnaround, but worth it, because I think it's somewhere that gave a lot of screen value and was different from a lot of things we've seen up to now.
It was one of my favourite sets, I think. It definitely had the wow factor.
300, take 2, red, marker.
Highclere as a location presents such a unique opportunity to achieve production values of such a high standard. They're just simply irreproducible by doing it any other way than really shooting it in a real English aristocratic house.
There isn't one stone of it that is manifesting humility. It's completely a statement of grandeur.
We all have mixed feelings about the dining room. The beautiful dining room that gets very hot, and we film those long, long scenes in there.
Dining room scenes have a particular terror for directors, and the reason for that is to do with the grammar of films. There are multiple eye lines because you have, let's say for the sake of argument, 8 people around the table, and they all are looking at different people at different times.
They can look glorious on screen, but they are arduous to film because you do it the same thing over and over again as you're getting the coverage on each person.
Between every take you have to reset the food, reset the wine glasses, reset the decanters, reset the candles, reset the flowers. It's just a laborious process.
What one dreads is, for example, Laura saying, you know that line, don't you think I should be saying that confidentially to whoever it is, rather than across the table? I think I should be sitting over here. And then there's the sound of director tearing up shooting plan, and you suddenly have to try and work out a new way of who's looking at whom without taking 3 weeks to film the scene. Quite honestly, the moment when the director realises that there's no easy way of covering the scene properly so that it edits together smoothly is a lonely moment for a director. That is the moment where you have to work it out for yourself.
If I measured out the dinner scenes, it's about 14 years of my life I've spent around that table. But, I do it with consummate professionalism, of course, and a smile in my eye.
This is delicious.
I'm so pleased you like it.
Haute Briand is one of my favourites.
Did you read that on the menu?
I didn't need to. I've made quite a study of claret.
Oh, well then. This is going to be much less uphill than I thought.
I read an email that came through my agency. It was started in America, and it said, Downton Abbey, an injury. And I thought, well, what's that got to do with me? And I put my glasses on. It said, inquiry.
The most famous opera singer in the world is coming to sing at Downton Abbey, so it makes sense for us to cast one of the most famous opera singers in the world.
We met in London just to have a quick meeting, and I think they decided they wanted me to do it, which was extremely nice. And they said, would I like to do it? And I said, well, what would I say? Anyway, of course, it was absolutely yes, and what a thrill to be able to be involved in such an amazing series.
Kiri is, like many high-profile people around the world, a fan of the shows, which so we find out, and so was, I believe, delighted to have been asked.
Dame Nellie sang Songs My Mother Taught Me many, many times. That was one of her great songs. It was the only song that I should choose.
When we arrived this morning, we all came in and watched the rehearsal. It was really nice, the whole cast and crew, everyone listening to her.
I was on set an hour and a half early. For those who know me, that never happens.
She's got the most beautiful voice. It's like spine-tingly and so, like, pure.
Seeing big burly members of the crew, like Bobby the Grip, in tears, it's quite a sight to behold.
This is all happening live, so that we have a live audience, a live singer, and a live piano accompaniment, which should give us a very good feeling of immediacy about the whole thing. Back in 1922, when this is actually supposed to be happening, I think that this would have sounded absolutely as wonderful as we hope that it will in the final result today.
It was really life imitates art. All the crew, everybody was gathered round, awestruck, and it was a privilege, and she's a great dame.
It's such an amazing feeling to, at this stage of my life, to be invited in such a beautiful series with such wonderful people. And I'm very thrilled just to be the part in somewhere in it.